This is Two Chicks Talkin Flicks, where we review movies. Love them or hate them, someone's got to do it. So enjoy the show. Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm April.
And this is Two Chicks Talkin Flicks.
And anything else that gets in the mix.
So, April, what's in the mix for you this week?
My coworkers and I did the one chip challenge.
Oh,
and that was painful.
Going in or coming out?
Going in. I honestly thought I was gonna have an upset stomach.
Yeah.
Because I ended up drinking like strawberry milk.
Yeah.
I'm not a milk person, but it was fine.
That's good.
Yeah, I was quite fortunate, but yeah, it was painful for all of us. We split one chip 4 ways. 3 of us didn't even eat the whole piece. One person just shoved it all into their mouth. Later on in the night when I was taking out my contacts, like I couldn't, even though I washed my hands. So I had to use like Q-tips to get it out. I do not recommend.
Yeah.
I had actually eaten the ghost pepper chips like when it came out a few years ago. And I just thought it would be maybe a degree worse than that. But that ghost pepper, man, I did not have to have milk. I did not immediately start hiccuping or getting teary-eyed. It was nothing compared to that one chip challenge.
Yeah, I had ghost pepper ranch chips and I thought they were pretty tasty, but they were very spicy. Like a couple chips in, I'm like, oh, this is a mistake. So I don't foresee me trying the one chip challenge. All I can think of is back in the day when I was in school, I took several cooking classes, but in one specific cooking class, someone's parent came in and was giving us like different kinds of Asian food. And one of them was wasabi.
Oh.
And a kid came in late, thought it was guacamole and like just took a whole thing and popped it in his mouth. And he was just like, like I took a dip in the corner and was like, my mouth was on fire, and he just...
The way I like to eat wasabi is to take just a little bit and mix it in with the soy sauce and then dip my food in there.
You know how I like to eat it?
How?
I don't.
Really?
I don't do it.
You should try it like that. Just put some in some wasabi sauce, mix it all around, and then dip.
That's just a little too much for me.
We'll need to do that. You'll need to try it. You could take the first dip out of mine.
My esophagus says no.
But my heart says yes.
That's why when I had the ghost pepper chips, I was like, okay, I can eat these. And I was like, I can't eat these at night. This has to be like a daytime chip. I don't want that laying in bed feeling that pops up when the acid reflux is like, hey, you did something today. And
yeah, no, all my feelings were in my face.
I get my face when I
my
eat
lips
chips.
Tingled for about an hour or so afterwards. So, but other than that, like, no, it took so long to get rid of that taste. We were eating like caramels, drinking milk, eating chocolate and like marshmallows, just like anything to get the taste to like calm down.
I think you should have had like butter and bread.
Yeah, we didn't think of that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've heard something about butter and bread.
Well,
Milk, butter and bread.
yeah. We got through it.
Well, that's good.
We survived. What about you?
Not a damn thing. Nope, nothing really. I'm trying to think, did anything happen? It's been a long time since we've done this. I didn't think I was going to ask you until it came out. And so I didn't have anything prepared.
Oh, okay. I didn't either.
Oh,
that's the only thing new going on.
Okay, so I did have a really weird thing that happened last Thursday. And I didn't talk about it, and I should have, but I didn't.
Okay.
So, okay. Let me set the scene. So I we went to Podcast Movement.
Yes.
And I got in with some of these people. They were having like a special little party. They invited me to go throw axes. Mm-hmm. That is important to this story.
Okay.
So I'm at work. I'm wearing a pair of Toms, and they look like lumberjack. They're buffalo plaid. I was feeling lumberjacky because I was going to go throw some axes. So I went to look the part. So as I am talking about going to this lumberjack thing and throwing axes with this lady from another podcast, because she had said, oh, she wanted to come, but she didn't, blah, blah, blah. So I send her a message saying that I am doing the lumberjack stuff and throwing the axes. Meanwhile, I'm listening to their podcast, the same person I am talking to. And as I send, I'm throwing axes today, she says in her podcast, yeah, I remember that time I was on that team and we went and threw axes. And I was like, what is happening in this world? Like, that was the most meta thing I think that's ever happened to me. Ever. And I was just like, did
you manifest this?
Yeah, I was like, did I just step into like a time continuum or like a black hole or a matrix?
This is why you need to manifest winning the lottery. We do this all the time whenever there's huge jackpots. We're like, okay, guys, we need to manifest this. We need to manifest this. And it hasn't happened.
No, we should do it when it's just normal. When it's like, it's at 135 million right now. I could live off of $135 million.
You know, going back to that one chip challenge, we were discussing like how much would we have to be paid to eat one whole chip?
Yeah.
And we were like, you know what? $500,000.
Really?
Yeah. $500,000 and 3 of us would eat the whole chip. Like, it would hurt and it would be painful, but it would be worth it. So I would probably shove the whole thing in my mouth just to get it over with as quickly as possible. Because I don't think I could eat pieces of it. I don't think I could do it. How much would it take for you to do it? Even though you haven't had it, just, imagine the worst.
Oh, God. Like, okay, I'm going to do different degrees.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So like $50, I'd eat salsa for like an hour. Perfectly fine. Right. Like $200, I'd eat that whole bag of ghost pepper chips, ghost pepper ranch chips. For that, I feel like it has to be up higher than that. If I'm gonna possibility of burning my eyeballs just from the oil on my hands hours later, I'm thinking in the million.
I would wear gloves. I would be so prepared.
Yeah, like I'm thinking in like the million range.
Really?
No taxes taken out. I want the whole damn million.
Wow.
Solid. Yeah. I would eat wasabi before I did that.
How much wasabi? Like a chip full like that kid?
Yeah. In like one setting. I would do that for maybe $500,000.
You know what? I think the wasabi would actually taste better, but I feel like it would coat your mouth more. Because that chip, it was it was basically a Dorito chip.
Yeah.
And it was so powdery like a Dorito chip, like it puff, But wasabi, it's mushy. It's a cream, basically.
Yeah. I saw a video of people doing it at the podcast movement.
I think it would actually be easier to swallow the wasabi because you wouldn't have to chew it.
Oh, true.
Ooh, I think the wasabi would be easier.
Yeah.
Just take chopsticks and baby bird it into your mouth.
That's what I was saying. I would rather do for $500,000. I would do the wasabi. I don't know about that one chip challenge.
Dude, that was hard.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound like fun.
It was not. Oh, we lost 30 minutes of productivity.
Yeah.
Some of us were crying, blowing our noses, sweating profusely, hiccuping. And then customers would come and we would take turns ringing them up through teary eyes. So, yeah. But whatever, like we did it.
You did it. You can say you did it.
I remember one of my coworkers, he was like, I think that's one of your worst ideas ever. And then the other friend was like, weren't you the one who made us eat that tulip? And I was like, oh yeah, I did. It was the same crew.
I would just be like, no. As soon as you'd be like, hey, I'd be like, no.
Dude, that tulip looked so delicious. Okay, I wanted to eat the bulb part.
No, I know. We've discussed at length.
Okay, so I just want to say that, like, I would make a great leader because I could lead my, I would lead my troops into the
I'm a
battle.
Very strong-willed person. Your tactics won't work on me, but it seems like you can lead everybody else into your crazy fun house of mirrors and disaster.
We do so much like stuff. So yeah.
Your boss doesn't listen to this, does he?
I've encouraged him to listen to it, but I told him we did the 1 chip challenge. I just didn't say we lost 30 minutes of productivity.
Good thing to keep that under wraps.
I mean, but like, we didn't think it was going to be that bad. Not
it's
like
1 chip, April.
Yeah, but like, you know, people exaggerate. What? We shared it. Like, we cracked it into 4 pieces.
And it was still that bad. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a reason why it's $6.99 for 1 chip.
Hey, we had a coupon for a free bag of chips that I gave away to a friend, and she bought the bag of the ghost pepper chips.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
None of my coworkers wanted that free coupon.
That's because they won't seem very spicy after you just ate that, whatever that is.
Oh my gosh. That would be an amazing challenge to do when you have COVID. Like, dude, that's like the only reason why I kind of would like to get COVID, because I want to eat guacamole. I want to eat tomatoes. I want to eat all this stuff that I hate just to like see if it works.
Well, as someone who has had COVID twice and had a newer strain than the first strain, the second time I didn't lose my taste of smell and taste. Sense of smell and taste. Only the first time.
Did you eat guacamole and stuff?
No. I was more concerned at the fact that things either tasted really savory or really disgusting. So sweet stuff was disgusting. Tomato-based stuff was savory. And now this was before I found out I had diverticulitis, and I'm not really supposed to have a lot of tomato-based stuff. So it's kind of acidy, hence why I can't have acidy kind of stuff. So, but it was very savory.
Man, if I get COVID, first thing I'm going to do is make a shopping list, have it delivered. All of the stuff that I would eat flan. I hate flan. Oh my gosh, I would eat all this hateful stuff. I would probably record it too and be like, hey guys, I have COVID, so we're going to eat all of the foods that I hate to see if I still hate it.
So a girl I work with, she's Hispanic, and she was talking to me that her cousin was having a birthday and she was going to buy him a cake, and she was asking what kind of cake he likes. And he was like, well, it's not a surprise if I tell you. So she was talking to me about cakes, and she was like, have you ever heard of a Tres Leches cake? And I was like, oh. And before she said it, I was going to be like, my friend hates Tres Leches cake, but I didn't say it. And then she asked me, and I was like, oh yes, I am very familiar with what this cake is. And she was like talking about, you know, some people like it, some people don't. I was like, my friend hates it. Hates it. And I was like, someone surprised her for her birthday with three Tres Leches cakes.
It's not their fault. Like, that's a very common cake in Hispanic parties.
Yeah.
And this was like the first time I was hanging out with, it was last summer when I was in Mexico, and they were, I had to eat it.
Yeah.
Like I remember one of the cakes was very fruity. So I got the fruity one and I concentrated on the frosting and the fruitiness.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I don't want to, there was one party had 2 cakes and I was like, I don't want to fill up so much. Cause you know, there's the second cake. And I was like, if I have to eat 2 tres leches, I'm only going to eat 1 in this fruit. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the next day, they had another birthday party for me. They had another fucking tres leches cake. And I'm just like, oh my God, I hate this. And I had to eat it.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're a better person than I am because I probably wouldn't.
You know what's so funny? When we went to Houston for Thanksgiving and my sister made all this food I didn't like, I just didn't eat it. You know, and then she was like, well, what did you do in Mexico? Like, if you don't like any of this, I was like, I just ate it. She's like, really? She's like, yeah, I mean, you know, here, you know, as soon as we leave, I'll just hit up McDonald's or Jack in the Box or some shit, you know, like I'm not going to starve.
You have a sister?
Yeah, I have a half sister.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I officially have 3 half siblings and a half sister.
I knew you had a lot of brothers.
Yeah.
I just didn't know you had a sister.
Yeah. She's in Houston.
Oh,
I've literally only seen her a handful of times.
Hey.
You know, 'cause that's how my family gets along. I mean, it's something, we're just not get together people.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Like I literally get together. We're getting together this weekend just so we can make something in the future with the thing that we're eating this weekend. So I don't know why, but I really wanted something with navy beans. I think I told you about it.
No.
And you asked me what navy beans were.
No. I know what navy beans are.
We said we're going to make cornbread with jalapenos and corn.
No.
I swear to God, I had this conversation.
No. Maybe it was a dream.
Anyways, yeah, but in order to make it, we have to have a ham bone. So we have to have ham in order to have the ham bone. So we're having ham this weekend, saving the ham bone for later. And my dad's going to make some navy beans with the ham bone. Mm-hmm. And yeah. But anywho, okay.
I barely see the brother I live with. Okay.
It's true.
I saw him yesterday when I got home. I was like, hey, what you doing? Eating. Okay. Put up my groceries because I went to the grocery store. And then I went to my room. Yeah.
You don't want to hang out with him?
Well, he's just in his room. He's probably going to sleep or something. I don't know. Whatever.
All right, April.
Yeah.
So we watched a movie.
We did.
What did we watch?
We watched Please Stand By, a movie that neither one of us had ever heard of.
Nope.
And it stars Dakota Fanning.
Yes. It's on HBO, so if you haven't heard of it, but you have HBO, you can go find it there.
Definitely go for it.
So basically it is about a girl that has autism and she is very into Star Trek.
Yeah.
And she finds out that they have a contest to submit a script in order to
win $100,000.
Yes, and have your script made into a movie.
They didn't say that part.
Or whatever.
Just to win.
Yeah, just to win. And she is trying to get her script there. It needs to be there by Tuesday at 5 p.m.
On February 16th.
Yes. And something goes awry and she's not able to get it to the post office. So she leaves the house that she stays in and goes on this adventure to try and get her script
in person there.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, then we have the people that are looking for her.
Yeah. So it's actually a really, really cute story.
It really is.
You know, you know, she grew up with a single mom and an older sister. And between the mother and the sister, they did the best that they could.
Yeah.
You know, she was very routine. She was very set in her routines. I think it helped her plan her day, know what her expectations were. Yeah. She had rules. She would write them down to remember things because she gets hyper focused onto certain things. So she loses track.
April understands that.
I completely do. So when her her mother dies, and now her sister is coping with her. The sister gets married, and then she gets pregnant. At some point between maybe during the pregnancy or maybe after the baby was probably during the pregnancy, because she says she's an aunt, but she's never met the baby. They decide that they're going to put her in a home. It's not necessarily like a senior citizen home. It's more for like troubled youth, but like more like mental, not crazy people.
It's a place that you learn life skills.
Yeah, kind of like a halfway house.
Yeah, so you're going there. They teach you how to interact with people, how to get a job, how to make sure that you can do the things independently, but with
supervision.
Supervision.
She has a job at the Cinnabon. It's a pretty simple job. She hates it, but she enjoys, I think, the mundane parts of it. Yeah. Like she likes probably baking the cinnamon rolls, frosting them, you know? And I get it. Like I like getting lost in my head doing mundane things.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that she made friends from other like stores at the mall and they all have their lunch together.
Yeah.
You know, she's sitting there busy working on her script. And then two guys, like they're all into Star Trek. Yeah. And they start quizzing her and accusing her of cheating. And one guy is like rooting for her and making bets on her. And it's really cute that she found her people. I love that.
I feel like she begrudgingly found him though. Like she doesn't really seem like she really cares that they're friends.
I feel like she was probably walking by. They were talking about Star Trek and she started talking about Star Trek with them, sat down and maybe didn't realize it might have been awkward, but the conversation just like flowed. So nobody said anything, you know?
See, I kind of feel like she was probably sitting there and they came to sit with her.
No.
And then we're talking and got all, you know, then they found out she was a fan of Star Wars or Star Trek.
Oh,
sorry. Whoops.
No, I can see them having the discussion and she kind of inserts herself in there.
Yeah.
And
like maybe corrects one of them.
Yeah, maybe. But I love that, you know, like I've never found my people in person. I had to create my people. I took my friends' nephews and I brainwashed them into loving Star Wars.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Right?
So,
I be damned if my friend's son is a Yankee fan. He will be a Ranger fan. He loves the Rangers. His dad's trying to make the Yankees happen. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to let it happen. Even if the Yankees are better, I don't care. It's not going to happen. He let it happen with his older son. It's not going to happen with the younger.
Listen, you have to love your child no matter who they're rooting for. Oh, wait, but he's not your child, so you don't have to love him.
Exactly, right? I'm just going to force him to like the Rangers and forget anything Yankees.
I'm gonna come up behind him and give him like Yankees shit.
Don't do that. That's rude.
What about the Mets?
I don't care about the Mets, so that's fine with me.
No, I'll give him Yankee shit.
So the sister, unfortunately, the mom passed away, and she is having to take care of Wendy, and she's just not able to. She like talks to Wendy's, I guess, sponsor,
counselor, maybe
and
life
it's
coach.
Just like, yeah, I don't understand how some people can do this. Well, they can do it because it's their kid.
Yeah,
you know, they don't have to, but it's their kid, so they're willing to do the things they need to do.
What I found so surprising is I can see you having issues walking into this situation, like the husband, if he had issues, but she grew up with her. She should already know what her tics are, how to calm her down. Sure, the life coach or whatever, she went to school, has had training, like she's a social worker. She knows about that type of thing, but you grew up with her, you know, like you should at the very least know how to calm her down and just, she it doesn't seem like she has any kind of system.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's why she felt she was taking over her life. But maybe if she also worked with the counselor together as a family, you know, she could help manage like her situation better.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like she has a handle on it at all.
No, and I can see you not being a pro at it, but you should at least you should know something, you know?
Like, I mean, maybe Wendy didn't have the coping skills that she has now, you know, so.
Maybe it needed an outside influence as well.
Because when we find out why they have the movie is called Please Stand By, is that's how they calm her down. They like had her on the ground pushing on her and they tell her to please stand by, and they're just having her breathe and calm down, and that relaxes her.
Yeah.
You know, when we see them as kids, she's freaking out and her sister's just like, stop, and like trying to stop her. That's not helping the situation. It's aspirating. It's making it worse.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know if it was her not wanting to learn or try different things, or if it was just she's at the end of her rope trying to fix it.
But here's the thing. Like, obviously we see her now in this group home.
Yeah.
And she has a balanced life.
Yeah.
You know, she has her routine. It's really helpful.
Yeah, you're a little jealous of her routine.
I kind of wish I had a routine. But I mean, I strongly feel that maybe not full time, but maybe on the weekends, she can come and spend the weekends with her family. You know, slowly transition. Like she's made, as far as I could tell, she's doing really well for her situation.
Yeah. And the thing is that her sister comes to tell her that they're moving. I guess her husband got a job, but she never does tell her, and that never gets resolved.
Yeah, no, because she comes and visits, I'm assuming the following week or whatever, and they're still at the house. Nothing is like at the beginning of the movie, they get rid of the piano. They put it on the curb.
They're packing stuff.
At the end of the movie, it's been at least 4 days. It has to been at least 4 days, and the piano's still outside.
Yeah.
So I just feel like once you start throwing shit out, you're moving within that week.
Yeah.
You know, why is their house not packed up?
Yeah. And why didn't you ever tell her? Like, how did that never get resolved? I feel like that was a missing part to this.
Yeah. And at first, you know, she says, you don't have to sell mom's house to pay for my care.
Yeah.
So is that what she told, you know, what's her name? Wendy? Audrey? Is that what she told her sister? I have to sell the house to pay for your medical, but it's really her husband got a new job. Like, where's the lie?
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
not sure. Well, she's banking on herself winning the
$100,000,
which stinks that she didn't. Spoiler alert: she didn't win.
No, but that was the best rejection letter ever written.
I was like, man,
it was very encouraging. Nice. It was like, we're writing to tell you, you know, you didn't win, but we really enjoyed your script. You're very talented. Please continue writing, and maybe in the future we'll read more of your work.
Yeah.
So
I kind of hoped that maybe she wouldn't. If she didn't win, that they'd be like, but we're going to use this in one of our future episodes, or we're going to take some of your plot points, something like that. I was kind of hoping that that's what they would do, but they just straight out was like, nope.
No.
But in such a nice way.
Yeah, no, like, first of all, her script was way too long.
Yeah.
I already knew they were going to reject that. Second, it was just a contest. They never said they were going to make it into a movie, and they wouldn't. Because contracts need to be written.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not going to, I knew that wasn't going to happen. It was just a contest.
So one aside that we forgot to talk about is her sister, they have the baby, in the morning, she's making coffee and they ran out of milk and she takes the bottle,
squeezes
some of it into the drink. And then the husband goes,
I know,
really good coffee.
And I when she did that, I was like, I hope that's not breast milk. And then later when she leaves to go look for her sister, she's like, there's plenty of breast milk in the freezer or something. And I was like, it was breast milk.
It sure was. I just thought that was like a funny aside.
I'm glad they answered that question though.
Yeah. And let's see here. So, Scotty?
Yeah.
That is the counselor. Yeah. She has a son, Sam, and he gets in trouble for not going to school.
Yep.
And so, she at one point has him come along with her on this adventure to find Wendy. And they're talking in the car. It was so cute. Like the mom's like, yeah, she has a script. And he's like, well, have you read it? She's like, I read a couple pages. Something about
Star Wars. And I don't
Captain Kirk. And he's like, that's Star Trek.
I know.
And it was so funny, just the way he's like, oh, Mom.
I know, right?
Like, they're very different things.
Yeah.
And they're very important to the different people that they're important to. He's like, you should just wreck this car right now because you don't know what you're talking about.
I hate when people still make that mistake.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah. I was a slight Trekkie when I was a kid. I was definitely into Will Wheaton.
I was Next Generation because that's the one I grew up on.
Me too.
So
I went to a convention with my dad.
No, you didn't.
I did. And much like Sheldon, I was really hoping Will Wheaton would be there, but he was not there. So I did not get to meet Will Wheaton.
Dun, dun.
Yeah. I kind of feel a little rejected like Sheldon. Damn you, Will Wheaton. Actually, matter of fact, when I went and saw Addison and them today, they were watching Big Bang.
Oh.
I was like, oh, funny.
You're just too observant.
Well, I heard it. And I came in the living room and I was like, oh, Big Bang Theory. So like I physically saw it with my eyeballs. But, you know, speaking of that, this movie, how she loves Star Trek kind of reminds me of Big Bang Theory, like all the characters, you know, and all their friends kind of sitting around talking about it.
I thought it was cute that her counselor's name was Scotty.
Yes. I was like, oh, how appropriate.
Yep.
And then she didn't know a damn thing about it.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity, Toni Colletti. Missed opportunity. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So did you ever see the movie The Wizard?
With Michael Jackson?
No, it's with Fred Savage.
That's The Wiz.
Yeah, that's The Wiz.
I think so. It's the one where they played the Super Nintendo game.
Yes. So he goes on a journey with his brother and their friend, and he's gonna.
I know. I
this
saw
game.
the documentary on Netflix. The movies that made us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. No, because the whole episode was about Nintendo.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it was the games that made us. I don't know, but I saw they talked about that movie.
Yeah. All I could think was that movie when watching this. It's not exactly the same. It was quite different, but I think the brother had some kind. This was before people were known to be on the spectrum. They would just be like, that kid's weird.
Yeah.
So he was somewhere on the spectrum, I'm assuming. And he carried around this little lunchbox and it had a picture of their parents. Their parents had passed. And it had other little trinkets. And so like her little notebook with the picture of Rudy in it, or Ruby, that kind of reminded me of that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, she writes funny little notes to herself. Like she writes down what time the sun's going to rise. She writes stuff like, you can't cross the street when the man is red. You can only walk when you see the white hand. You can never cross Market Street.
But then she does.
You know, in the morning you have to take a shower. And then later when she can't shower, she's like, it's okay to skip one day, but not two.
Scotty said that was okay.
Yeah. So like those, like if you tell her something, she will write it down.
Yeah.
Like you need a ticket to get on the bus. So she starts writing that down.
Yeah.
And the bus driver's like, go buy a ticket. So
I feel like, it's 2022. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously this was made a few years ago, but I feel like it's well known that people are on the spectrum nowadays, that, we have the spectrum for a reason and you come across different people. And I feel like almost everybody except for that one lady and the cop, everybody else just are kind of dicks.
So you also have to remember this is California and she could be a druggie.
I guess.
Well, I guess she could be from anywhere and be a druggie. Yeah. Like you're only having the smallest of interactions with the person. Yeah. So you may not get that other than, oh my God, this person's wasting my time. They're weird. I just need to make it very clear that her $7 is not enough money to buy a ticket for the bus.
Yeah. And I'm mad at all those people in line. It was $22. You couldn't just pay for the ticket for her.
So when I'm in line, I'm on my phone. Uh-huh. So I'm not actually listening to the conversation, like unless it's happening like right there. Mm-hmm. Like there was two people behind her.
Yeah.
They could have very well been talking to each other.
Could be.
So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because I would have put the $20 in.
Yeah.
But I may not have even noticed. Like, again, I'm always in my own little world. So
like, I feel like if that situation had happened and it was the lady from the night before, she would have helped her.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was not.
Yeah.
So I loved the little old lady.
Yes.
She was so nice.
I was surprised how quickly that store shopper or clerk, there you go, was trying to rob her.
Right?
Like she put a bag of fun size M&Ms and asked how much does it cost? And he looked at her and he's like, $1 a bar, $1 a candy bar. And she's like, okay, so there's like 18 in here. So that's $18.
Yeah.
Like how, like, was he joking to see, if the joke landed? Yeah. And then she took it seriously. And then he's like, well, okay, maybe she's dumb. So I will take those $18.
Yeah. Ugh. I didn't like that at all.
No, I didn't either. But I feel like maybe he was joking just to see what would happen, But then when she went with it, he was like, it was not my fault. She's dumb.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of because you don't expect that to work.
Yeah. Now, I will say as a cashier, I've probably said something stupid like that. Just like, oh, it's $1 a bar. Ha ha ha.
I could totally see myself saying that. Yeah. But I would probably say it humorous.
Yes, me too.
But like maybe that was his sarcastic tone was a neutral tone. It's like $1 a bar.
At first, I kind of thought he was also had some kind of mental disorder because he seemed like he just kind of...
Well, like he didn't think, like he was kind of clueless. Like, okay, yeah, $18. That sounds about right.
But I like that the lady was like, now don't you dare do that to that poor girl. Mm-hmm. You know good and well that is $2.99. Mm-hmm. And then I thought... What in the world? That is not $2.99.
Yeah, but like it's closer.
True. Yeah.
It seems more reasonable.
$18.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like what, like $4 something?
Yeah, $4.99.
Unless it's on sale.
No, then it's like $2 for. They always make you get that extra one.
Let's see here. So she takes her dog.
Oh, Pete. I was going to say Peter. Pete.
Yeah, I kept wanting to say Peter, and it's just Pete.
It was the cutest little dog ever. Yeah. It was like a hairy chihuahua. What was it?
I don't know. It was a very sweet little dog.
Yeah, it was not a chihuahua. It was maybe a big chihuahua size.
Yeah.
but it was so cute. It was so cute. She snuck it on the bus.
Yes.
And then the dog had to pee. She did make it at least halfway down from San Francisco to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
When the dog had to pee and the bus driver wouldn't stop, and then the dog peed. So then she got thrown off the bus, which I feel like if that was going to happen, it would have happened not on the side of the road. It would have happened like at a gas station or something.
Well, to be fair, it was a bus stop.
True.
It just
was a city bus stop. So she starts walking and she comes across, I don't know, like an abandoned fairground.
Yes.
And I guess there's another couple there taking a break as well.
Just waiting for someone to come across their path, apparently.
No, the boyfriend was probably peeing or something. Maybe they took a lunch break or whatever. Anyways, they are either down on their luck and or scumbags.
I definitely think he was a scumbag.
Yeah.
She at least felt bad about it.
Yeah.
But as soon as we saw them, I was like, or saw her, I go, I don't trust her.
Yeah. So she was nice, gained her trust, and then stole like her measly, $80, $100 at most.
At most, yeah.
You know? And then they almost took her notebook, but she screamed, my notebook. So they gave it back, but they did steal her iPod.
Yeah.
And so then she had to sing to herself.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yep. So she walked into town, and that's where she met the old lady with the Snickers bar. And the old lady was from a retirement home. I guess they were on a little day trip.
Yeah.
So she got on the bus with them, their little, retirement home bus. And then there was an accident.
Yeah, and I guess nobody else got injured except for her and 3 other blondes.
No, I think it was just happened to be a coincidence that they had other Jane Does.
Maybe.
Maybe because she didn't have an ID.
We're just like, how did she get injured? They never really explained that.
Well, you don't wear seatbelts.
Well, I know, but it didn't seem like anybody else really got that injured. But
well, we didn't see them.
True.
You don't know. I figured other people were injured as well. Either way, she wakes up
at the hospital.
Yeah, and then she's not really being held against her will, but obviously they don't realize she's on a spectrum.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh my gosh, there's this girl who's disoriented, which she was, you know, but basically she sneaks out and she unfortunately has to leave the dog behind, but she's going to come back for him, and she left him his lunch.
Yes.
His peanut butter sandwich. Yeah. And on her escape, she lost half of her script.
Yeah. Devastating.
That hurt so much. That was like 400 pages.
Yeah.
She lost like 200 of them. So yeah. Meanwhile, the counselor, her son, and the sister find out that there's a Jane Doe that came in with her dog.
Yeah.
So they head over to, I don't know, Bakersfield. They say names of towns. I don't know where they're at. Anyways, they get there too late. They find the script, they pick it up, and then they spend the night at the hotel because they don't really have a lead at that point. Meanwhile, our poor little Wendy spends the night outside of a bus station. And then the next morning she realizes she doesn't have enough money. So she sneaks into the luggage compartment of the bus to get to Los Angeles.
She is very resourceful.
Yeah. I just don't see that being realistic.
No.
You know, like you would have to get on one side, wait for them and hide behind the luggage, wait for them to close the door, and then bounce to the other side and hide behind luggage when they close the second door. Mm-hmm. Because it's so high up that even if I wasn't purposefully looking in there, there's so much wide open space that I could see someone in there.
Right.
But it's a movie, so we're going to let it go.
Let it go.
I would imagine it would be hella hot in there.
Yeah.
You know, like exhaust fume situation.
Yeah, probably not very comfortable either.
No, I think once you get settled, you rearrange the luggage, lay down. if it wasn't for the exhaust and if they had air conditioning and ventilation, I think it would be quite snug.
Plus, as long as you had your phone or something to listen to, you'd be fine.
But she didn't. It got stolen.
Yeah.
So when we were going to Burning Man a few years ago, we packed up the van, and I remember I got the first half of it in the back seat, and we had so much shit back there. And when you look at it, like the area that I was in, it was tiny, but I got to like next to me, that's where we put all of the blankets, the pillows, the sleeping bags, so that I was basically laying on it sideways. And it was so comfortable. But like when you get out and you saw the area I was actually taking up, it was like small. But it was so comfortable back there.
When my family and I were going to Arizona, they had left before me, and I was meeting them by going on a plane. I had worked all the night before because I did it overnight. So I was up all the night before. I stayed awake, went to the airport because my aunt worked there, so she took me. Then I had hours to wait at the airport before I could even get on the plane. Get on the plane. I gained 2 extra hours. So I had already been up over 24 hours at this point. I gained 2 extra hours. My family picks me up. We're in Arizona in March. So it's not super hot, but it's hot
Arizona.
enough. Yeah, it's Arizona. Our air conditioner went out in their car because they packed and had enough room for all their stuff. I guess they weren't thinking, oh, Sarah's going to have luggage. So when we got in there was no room. Like we were very, very cramped. And then the AC went out, and I was just at my breaking point. And it was a rough, like couple hour drive. I was just like, I hate this so much right now. I was like, I need to get out of this car. And then we went to go eat something. And then my dinner was full of onions and tomatoes, and it sucked. And I was very cranky. I needed a Snickers, I think.
You were hangry?
I was very hangry and tired. Very, very tired and hot and exhausted.
What was it? I remember as a kid, my dad had a truck that had a camper. And whenever we would go to Houston, he would take the mattress of one of the twin beds, stick it in there. We would have pillows, blankets, whatever, our toys if we wanted to. And we would go down to Houston. Now, obviously, in the winter, it's easier to stay warm with like blankets and jackets. But I, for the life of me, do not remember suffering in the summer. Like, it had side windows, but they're little windows. And like, I mean, that's what I think about sometimes about like global warming. Like, it has to be real. Like, because, you think about it, a kid in a hot car, yeah, sure, it's moving and there's wind, but there was no AC back there, and we didn't die. And yes, there's circulation, but like, even then it would be hot air. Like I don't remember complaining. I do not remember. We loved it back there. It was so much fun,
Maybe they didn't do it so often in the summer.
I have no idea. I just remember they're morning people. So they would wake us up at like 3, 4 in the morning so that we would get there at breakfast time.
Yeah. So it's cooler then.
True for the going, but the coming, we would leave in the evening and get here at nighttime. Yeah. So I don't know either.
And I know we had really hot times then because the summer of 1980 is still something that people talk about. My grandparents were in England when that happened, so they missed out on a lot of the 1980s summer heat.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember always being outside, but maybe on those days I just wasn't outside. Yeah. Like, you're a kid, so you don't really remember. You don't keep track like that precisely, precision, whatever.
So
she's in California. Well, she is there. Los Angeles. She made it.
Yes. And she's walking down the street.
Asking for directions to Paramount.
2 cops see her and they start to chase after her, and she freaks out and they corner her at this one place, and Patton Oswalt
notices her Star Trek patch on her backpack.
Yeah. And so he speaks Klingon to her.
Yep.
Gets her trust, and she leaves with them. And then she's explaining her book to him in the next scene.
And he loves it.
He's so excited.
Yeah.
And then Scotty's son also read it and loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they didn't love this? Like, I really wanted them to love it.
I mean, you can love something, but that's not, you know, what, like, here's the thing. It's 400 pages long. She says she's writing it as a saga. She could be extremely, you know how some people are very detail oriented that really try to set the mood and describe every single thing.
That is exactly what the, where the crawdads sing is. Like, it's so descriptive. I can feel where they're at. I can see where they're at, but it's bugging the living shit out of me.
Like, that's like, let's say,
it's too much.
yeah. So maybe that's also her story. Like, so when her, I guess, friends and critics are reading the story, you know, like when I'm reading a story that's that descriptive, I just skip those parts and continue on with the actual story and dialogue. So it also could be that they enjoyed the story, but they didn't necessarily care for all of the details. So that could be another reason why she didn't win.
Could be.
You know, because when you write something like a screenplay, the director's going to go in and make his own vision, you know? So.
So she makes it to Paramount.
Yep. And she just waltzes in there.
Yeah, somehow she's able to get by.
I just feel like they didn't show it, but I feel like maybe there was a side door and she just like walked through it and just kept on. Like she maybe followed somebody in and just kept going.
To be fair, she does have a necklace that has like a
bunch of badges.
Yeah. So maybe they just were like, oh, well, whatever.
Mm-hmm. And she at that point was walking with a purpose.
Yes. That's how we do it.
So she was not going to ask, like, she wasn't going to ask people of authority.
Yeah. That's how we got into podcast movement.
Yeah, dude. We just walked in there like, we own that shit.
Walk like you know where you're going and no one's going to stop you.
FYI, those tickets were like $500 and we don't have money like that. So we just showed up.
Now, if you want to join our Patreon and sponsor our
for
podcast,
next year,
you know,
I'm actually really looking forward to next year.
Yeah. So you want to go?
I want to go.
Yay.
I don't know if I want to pay the $500.
No, I say we do exactly what we did this year.
Yeah.
And just make it work.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, we've already met friends now.
Yeah.
So we have like a core. I have the number of the guy who runs the show. So, hey.
I am so down.
Yeah. I'm down too. It's in Colorado.
Hell yeah.
Rocky Mountain High.
Yep.
Colorado.
I have a cousin there.
There we go.
She could show us all the local vibes
too. I probably wouldn't hang out with them, but I do have them there.
One dinner or breakfast or lunch. Whatever.
Oh,
we'll have a great time ourselves.
Yes, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So she goes to drop off her script.
Yep.
And
in the mailroom.
Yeah. And the guy is like, excuse me, what are you doing? She's like, I need to drop off my manuscript.
She can see the box where you drop the
script in.
Yeah.
And,
entries.
Yeah. And he's like, well, it's not postmarked. So I'm sorry. Too bad.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, do you know who I am? And he goes, no, like after yelling at him for a while. And she had a very good speech.
Yeah. She was like, people write for days, hours, think about this constantly just to have somebody give them a chance and read their work.
Yeah.
And then he's just looking at her like, oh my God, security. And then she's like, do you know who I am? And all of us had the same thought. It's like, who the fuck do you think you are? And then he's like, no. And she's like, good. And then she runs past him and drops her package down the chute. Yeah. And then she like takes off. And I was like, I like it.
So clever.
Yeah. Like you don't know who I am. Yeah. So you can't take my entry off of the other entries.
I actually heard that from I want to say a comedian or someone that told a story. They've done that with like tests at school. Like, do you know my name? And the teacher's like, no. And they just took it and like hit it in there. It works.
Yeah.
So her sister's going to buy her a new iPod.
Oh, don't you want to tell your iPod story?
Yes, I do.
Go for it.
I got
and
drunk.
Scene.
Yeah. I got obliterated at a party, had my iPod with me, handed it to a friend because I knocked something over, went to go clean it up. She was holding it. Someone asked her if they could look at it. While my back was turned, I like literally went into the other room to grab a towel. When I came back, they were walking out the door. They stole it.
How old was your iPod?
Brand new. I had just gotten it like that Christmas before. So it was fairly new. And so that night, drunkenly, I called my sister and I left her a message. It was like 3:00 in the morning. And I was like, could you buy me a new iPod? Someone stole mine. Shh, don't tell mom and dad. Bye. And I was like, I'll pay you back. Just, can you buy me one? Because I was in college. I didn't have the money to just go buy one. So the next day, I go to talk to my sister and she's like, so you called me last night? And I was like, yeah. And
I have evidence.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, mom and dad thought it was really funny. I was like, you told them? So mad. So mad. She's like, they thought it was really funny.
Did one of them buy you one?
No. I didn't get one for a while after that.
Oh.
I think I had to buy mine, the next one. So then I had to listen to CDs in class.
Weren't you talking last week about how much you miss CDs and you want to get a CD player installed in your new car?
That is different because I'm not carrying that around. I had to carry around a Discman. That's very inconvenient, especially while in class.
I remember like getting jackets that you could fit it in was like the perfect.
Right?
Yeah. And you got anti-skip on there. It's like, this one has 15 seconds of anti-skip.
Right.
Wow.
And then you always drop it and the
I
batteries
didn't
pop out and the CD skips. And
I don't remember that happening with me.
well, you're special.
I'm sure it happened. It just didn't happen often enough for me to like recall that happening.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm perfect and I never dropped it.
I feel like you were, April.
I just don't have any memories of me dropping. Now my phone is different.
Right? I drop my phone on a daily basis.
Yes.
All right, April.
Yes, Sarah.
Anything else about this movie?
I thought it was really cute.
Yes.
It's a movie that you can be doing other things. So like if you're knitting or coloring or, you know, it's definitely a movie that you don't have to be looking at the entire time.
Speaking of knitting, she is a very fast knitter, crocheter. I don't know which one she was doing. I wonder if she does that in real life. Like, I bet she does because she was just like working them needles real good.
Maybe they worked that into the script.
Yeah. Because she was like super fast. I was like, wow, that's impressive. And if she was just faking it, like fakies.
Job well done.
Yeah, because I was like, wow, that's impressive. I've tried. I cannot crochet. I can do many crafts, but I cannot crochet and or knit. It's not in my lexicon. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I wasn't quite sure how I'd feel about it. But I really enjoyed it.
It is a soft humor.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be laugh out loud, but you're still going to enjoy it. I didn't think it was slow paced. I found it to be just right, but it all depends on your personal preferences.
It's really just a journey.
Yes,
you know?
it is.
And what I find really interesting is that when she is doing her monologues about Star Trek, she is playing Captain Kirk. She's not playing Spock.
Yeah, but she identifies with Spock.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily, because she's reading his log.
Yeah.
So Kirk, the captain, is the one who writes the log.
Yes. That's why it's interesting that she is that character instead of being Spock, because as the son.
No, but like when they do little flashbacks of her. So here's the storyline that happened in the Star Trek script. Basically, everyone on the Enterprise has died.
Yeah.
It is now only Spock and Kirk. They're on this like red planet that's very windy, red sand everywhere, and they're walking through the desert. And then Kirk is dying.
Yeah.
So they fall to the ground. He opens his head, and he's actually the sister.
Yes.
And so when they reveal Dakota Fanning, she's Spock.
Yeah.
And then Kirk is like, you know, everything's going to be okay because you're going to make it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh.
That's your perfect movie. Everybody died.
Spock lived.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, he's supposed to live.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, this is the last entry of the captain.
Yeah.
So he's not there to tell the story anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But when she's like doing her thinking of the book,
Yeah.
she's doing the captain's log.
Mm-hmm.
But the son explained to the mom why she loves the show so much.
Yeah.
And she's like, because she identifies with Spock.
Yep.
You know, he doesn't understand facial cues and different things like that. And he's trying to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very similar to how she learns.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about Spock. Like, he has a human mother
Yeah.
and a Vulcan father.
Yes.
So I suppose normal Vulcans don't have feelings, but he can feel to some degree, but he doesn't understand it. So, yeah.
Because his Vulcan side is his pragmatic side.
Exactly.
You know, very much like Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, Spock is his favorite character.
Leonard Nimoy.
Yep.
R.I.P. Right?
Yeah, he passed. That is correct.
I was like, wait, did he?
Yeah.
So anything else about this movie?
I enjoyed it. I wouldn't see it again though.
What would you rate it?
I would rate this not on the rewatchability, just first time going in and watching it, a 7 out of 10. Naked dog. They took off his little vest. He has a little Star Trek vest and they took it off. So now he's naked.
He is. Poor little thing. I too would give it a 7 out of 10. I don't know if I would like go out and watch it again right away, but I wouldn't not watch it again. So I'd say 7 out of 10. Would you like to try my Cinnabons? And yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it's a great movie.
Yes, same.
So 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert. All right. Well, April, where can they find us?
Two Chicks Talking Flicks over on Instagram.
You can find us at Two Chicks Talkin Flicks at Gmail.
Two Chicks Talking Flicks on Facebook.
And Two Chicks Talkin Flicks on TikTok. You don't stop. And I guess until next time,
Toodles.
bye. This episode was produced by Two Chicks Talkin Flicks. Music was produced by Michael Girvani. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to be a part of the show, have a movie suggestion, or just want to give us some love, you can email us at twochickstalkinflicks@gmail.com. Thanks, guys. Toodles.